La 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 la. All right. Happy day 2 of the Transformation Kickstart Challenge. Holy macaroni. We're here. We're here to serve you so that you can reveal the best, most loving, inspiring, happy, joyful version of yourself.
Good morning, everybody. In the ES Army, we call today Transformation Tuesday. Today's not just another Tuesday, it is a Transformation Tuesday. And let me see you drop a G in the chat if you found yesterday to be good. Now,
were you able to stick with us for the whole day?
Regardless of how you found yesterday to be, yesterday came with a lot of lessons. I'm here to tell you today is going to be a much bigger day. All right, so super excited to have you here. Listen, accountability is one of the elements that we all need for success. And, you know, if you did yesterday's challenge, you know, every day after the teaching, we're going to talk about how do you implement it? Because it's one thing to have it sit in your head, and it's another thing to apply it in your life. Okay. So, you know, when you play this game of body transformation, right? You know, the main focus is actually on the implementation. It's like, okay, we take a golden nugget, we apply it to our life, and we rinse, repeat. Okay. So, just a quick recap with regards to yesterday.
Before you recap,
yeah,
I just want to express my gratitude for all of you guys who hung in there with us yesterday. We had some technology, internet hiccups, and we had to learn how to pivot around. And then we were able to have the blessing of helping you understand our inner thoughts and how we navigate through unexpected situations. And I truly believe everything happens on purpose. And the message that you did hear yesterday came from whatever experience we had yesterday. And, you know, look, today, okay, now we solved problems and it looks like everything is working great. So for one, I want to say something because yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody and they were like, yeah, I was on the live, but like I couldn't hear anything. So I left. And I'm like, oh, you didn't stick around long enough to see like we found a solution. And they're like, oh, dang it. And the thought that went through my mind, not to shame anybody, you guys, we all are going through this journey of life, learning as we go. You've never done tomorrow, so you don't know how to do tomorrow. It's a fact, right? But I want to bring this to our attention. I want to bring this lesson up to the front because what we have to ask is at some point, where else in our lives have we quit because something was difficult or because something was inconvenient or because it was challenging or because we didn't know how to do something
or because something wasn't as per our expectation
or because something didn't go the way that we expected it to go? How often do we just kind of throw in the towel? And again, I've been guilty of this, but it's a good reflection because the only person that truly, actually, the person that suffers the most from kind of throwing in the towel when things get hard or are not as expected, things, you know, are challenging, is the person doing that. However, there's always a ripple effect. With every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction. And so somebody else is also paying the price for when we quit because something gets too hard. Who else would be paying the price? If that's been, you know, your situation before, if you have found yourself, let's just be humble and say, yes, I have quit with things that have been hard before. Yes. You know, it's okay. We all do it. But the best thing that we can do is acknowledge it and then say, how do we move forward so that we don't do that again? We don't make that a pattern. We don't keep it doing that, or we break that pattern because there's somebody else in your life that is paying a price for when we quit, when something gets hard. If you're on this journey, yesterday we talked a lot about kids. We talked about if you're a parent, you don't just do this for you. Lagging again? I see it good on YouTube.
There's just been 3 comments in a row.
Oh.
A bit breaking up or being every other word.
I'm just going to watch our YouTube feed. We talked a lot about how we don't just do this for ourselves, but we also are doing this to be a good example to our kids, to not just look good naked, feel good in our own skin, but also to show ourselves the deepest self-respect and self-love. And when we throw in the towel early because something got tricky or sticky or hard, somebody else is also paying that price. Right? So if you are trying to be to your kids, if you are trying to be a good leader to your kids, but we throw in the towel, somebody else is affected by that as well. So
Yeah, that's powerful. So how are we doing? Good?
It's your sound. There's the same issues with the sound. It sounds like you're underwater.
Sounds like we're underwater. Thanks for playing with us, guys. Is it just the mics or is it video too?
Video seems fine.
Video seems fine.
If it's just the mic, drop an M.
All right, listen. Here's what we're gonna do. Screw these mics. This is test. This is a test day.
Test.
Nicole said she's good. Just the mics. Just the mics. All right, cool, guys. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you so much for your feedback. I am going to make sure that we can get audio. Check. That's right there. I think I just solved the problem. Let me know if you guys can hear that better. Let's continue because I think that was the issue.
So like we said, today is going to be a much better day. Let's roll. So yesterday we talked about how, like relying on your motivation is not really the thing that's going to help you to get ahead, right? Rather, what we need to do is we need to intentionally focus on raising our environment, which starts with us, because otherwise our environment is going to shape us. And, with the way that things are shaping, if it hasn't already impacted you, it probably impacted your family, because 98% of Americans are on the sickness side of the sickness wellness fitness curve. And, over 40% of Americans are, currently being medicated for at least one, drug that, has to do with, one ailment of chronic disease. The top 10 killers in the U.S.
Are you recapping yesterday?
Yes, I am.
I love this. You guys, I have slides. Look, we can recap yesterday.
The top 10 killers in the U.S. are, like all chronic disease. So, it's time for us to wake up and really ask ourselves, like, okay, like, how is our environment really shaping us? And how is it shaping our standards? Because the environment that we live in, creates the standards that we have. So, yesterday's exercise had everything to do with you confronting your current environment in terms of nutrition and in terms of the physicality of it, right? And also, we started working on implementing better lifestyle habits. Remember, in order for you to sustainably transform your body and your life so that it can manifest over to other areas of your life and your kids, future generations, this is a lifestyle that we build. This is not like, one quick trick. Over the next 5 days, we're going to show you the main principles that, have a massive impact over the 360 transformation. And then beyond that, we go deeper. So actually later today, we're going to talk about what is that one layer beneath those, 5 pillars of the 360 transformation. However, before we get to that, what we're going to do is we're going to hold you accountable for how you're playing the game. Remember, you guys, we told you yesterday, this is a game. So yesterday, you had up to 3 targets to earn, one of which was the workout. The other one is the raise your standards exercise. And the other one is reaching up for support. Okay.
And let me tell you something about accountability real quick before we ask you for this. Accountability sucks. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't suck. It just doesn't feel good. It's hard. because
when you're not used to
it
it.
holds us to the fire. It holds us to the fire. But let me tell you something else about accountability. For one, yes, it does get easier when you're used to being held accountable. For two, when you are held accountable, and only when you are held accountable will you get results. That's it. If you are not held accountable, every time we give up on ourselves, we quit on ourselves, we don't follow through. It's so easy to do. We'll do everything for everybody else, but it's so easy to just be like, tell ourselves no. Oh, I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. Alarm goes off. 5 more minutes. An hour later, you wake up. Oh, I'm going to work out after work. Oh, I'm tired. So I'll just do it tomorrow. I promise I'll do it tomorrow. And it's so easy to quit on ourselves. Accountability is a beautiful thing, but challenging in the beginning. So we're going to go for some accountability.
So on a scale of 0 to 3, where are you at? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. We'd love to know, how are you playing the game? And remember, it's about doing the best that you can with what you've got. It's not so much about being perfect. It is rather about showing up as your best self. And I share this with you because, as more days go on, more people are going to fall off. I hope that this is not going to be you. And I would much rather somebody, every single day maybe get 2 points and follow through for the entire 5 days rather than crush it for the first 2 days. And then something, a wrench happens in their life and then they fall off. Yesterday, you saw us, deal with a wrench. However, when life throws you wrenches, you lean into the wrench because that's the only way you learn how to problem solve. And like we said, body transformation, weight loss, okay, is not your problem. There is something beneath that. And it is a problem solving game. What we do in this challenge is we start focus, we showcase to you what are some skills that you need to start developing in order to help you get there. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take things one step further, okay? Because yesterday we talked about how your environment shapes you. So this is your environment. That's
a good circle. Can we acknowledge this circle for a second?
Yeah.
Did you practice before we started?
So your environment shapes you. Okay.
Pay attention.
Like who is in your environment shapes you. What things are in your environment shape you. What are you consuming, with all of your senses shapes you. Now, here's the reality. You can also shape your environment. So yesterday, we've given you permission to claim power over the fact that you are capable of changing your environment. Now, the degree in which you want to transform your environment will require more time, more effort, more resources, and more skills. Okay. Like, for example, let's say you've been tolerating your kids having Lucky Charms for breakfast every single day, right? Like you're not just gonna, wake up tomorrow and say, okay, good morning, family. Today, everybody's gonna start having egg whites. There's a process that goes through it. Okay. So what's important to know is just like your environment shapes you, you shape your environment. Now, what we're going to start honing on today is what's within your environment. And,
wow, that's a good triangle. Suri practiced her shapes this weekend.
Hey, okay. So let's talk about the layer beneath the environment.
I'm just here for entertainment factor, guys.
The layer beneath your environment, okay? The reason why your environment is so important is because your environment shapes your habits. Your habits.
shapes. It reminds me of 10 Things I Hate About You. Cat.
And what we're going to uncover over the next couple of days, there's actually just like a pyramid, right? Like there's different, like heights to the pyramid. Today, we're going to talk about what is on the ground floor of the pyramid in terms of habits. Okay. So like you see, when somebody's like, okay, everybody, this time I'm ready. I'm gonna do this darn thing. I'm gonna, get in better shape. I'm gonna lose weight. Like what things do we, focus on first? What things are most talked about? I want to see you guys drop it in the chat. Like, what would be the first thing you think about? Okay, everybody, I'm going to get in better shape. I'm going to start doing blank. While we're waiting,
I think I messed it up. I made this really small. It should be a little bigger.
that's okay. That's all right.
Oopsie.
That's all right. It happens. Listen, we're a team. So, okay. I'm just going to go for it. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going for it. So the first thing that we think about is, okay, I see you, Lisa.
Diet, nutrition, workouts.
So I see you guys talking about nutrition, workouts, sleeping, and all of these things are true. But here's the thing.
The majority of those are exercise and nutrition related.
And you're right. And you guys are right. Now, what did you say earlier today? You're talking about your alarm goes off at so-and-so. And
you tell it, shut up.
So what happens between when the alarm goes off and you tell it, shut up?
You compromise, negotiation.
But what leads to that? What is the thing that leads to all of that? That gives rise to the things that you do or the things that you don't do?
Lack of discipline.
Thoughts. Your thoughts. Okay?
I think I'm going to hit this bitch.
So today we're going to talk. Let's put a much bigger layer for a much bigger day.
Okay, this is here.
So your thought habits. Okay, your thought habits give rise or give flow to everything that you do or don't do.
We need to see your pretty dress.
Yes, thank you for
that. You're welcome.
Erin reminded me before we got on this video. She's like, remember, you get this half, I get this half.
I said that we have a whole screen. Let's use the whole screen.
You said it better. But, I'm just letting you guys in on our lives. So your thought habits actually give rise to the rest of the habits. So,
great thoughts.
Over the next couple of days, while we're shaping, your movement habits, because, like you've been given workouts to do, you've been given recipes so you can start, eating cleaner. And yes, we're going to be talking about nutrition because we know that you want to know more and we want to teach you more. However, we can talk about how some of you guys are in the inner circle are going to laugh because I say this all the time. How the, nutrient density of romaine lettuce is greater than iceberg lettuce, or how, like Lucky Charms is now claimed to be healthier according to the FDA than steak. Yes, we're going to give room to talk about nutrition so you have more clarity. However, you can know all of these things, but the reality is the quality of your decisions gives rise to your results. Okay. So we must talk about your thought first and, the element of your thinking that we're going to hone in on today, because tomorrow we're going to take it one step deeper with regards to your thoughts, is how your belief system shapes your thoughts and how your thoughts shape your belief system. So now, the first thing that we have to acknowledge is the fact that our belief system shapes our reality. Okay. So, for example, if I tell you that today is going to be a much bigger day, okay, you are going to believe that we are going to talk, about deeper things. You're going to believe that it's going to be even more impactful. right? Like,
Which it will be.
if I tell you, you guys, I'm freezing right now, you're probably going to start feeling cold for me at some point. Okay. Now, all that to say, yesterday we talked about your environment, right? And, this is the quality of, you doing this challenge, because the information that you associate yourself with gives rise to your beliefs. Yesterday, we actually didn't really talk about um, our stories. And I think it's important that you know a little bit of where we come from. Do you mind if I share a little bit of my story?
Yeah, go ahead. And you guys, this is really crucial, because if we ever sound like we're talking right at you, like, oh my God, like we're talking directly to you and it's hitting home so hard, it's because we have been there.
Yeah.
And so it's important to understand, like, why do we even do this? Like, I don't know if any of you have asked yourself, why do Aaron and Sarit show up the way that they do? Why do Aaron and Sarit do what they do? It is because we know what it's like to feel mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted from going in circles, wondering if that is as good as life is going to get. Struggling, suffering from binge eating, stress eating, emotional eating, promising to ourselves that I'm going to do better tomorrow, and then not doing better tomorrow, and just over and over. It's important that you get this. So.
Yeah. So, for me, my journey started at a very young age, because growing up, I was, known as the fat child. And to the point where, I was being ridiculed when, I was growing up. I was like the second most overweight kid in class. And I was also very short. So it looked like I was the most overweight, and kids made fun of me. I also had a speech impediment. You might hear it in my speech a little bit now. Anyways, full of imperfections. It is what it is. However, when you're being called names like, oh, you're just so fat, you start, whether you're aware of it or not, you start to take it on. So as you hear me say this, start thinking about your story and what belief system have you created within your life about you, perhaps based on how your environment has shaped for you to be. So, anyways, it came to the point where between sixth grade and middle school, you transfer schools. I also moved to a different place. And I was like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being known as the fat girl, where everybody always makes fun of, and I have crooked teeth and I have speech impediment. I want to be able to, like, be present and speak for myself. So what did I do? I looked up books, that's before Google was a thing. And, back in the day, like calorie counting was like
All the rage.
like, the mecca of all things weight loss. So I was like, okay, also the cover had a popsicle. So I'm like, ooh, like I can eat candy and like lose weight, because I love chocolate, right? So, I started counting calories and not really knowing how the game works, other than just following through with the calorie system. And if you've done calorie counting before, please go ahead and drop a C in the chat. You know, I went from 2,000 calories and I started seeing some good results, right? And if you're a go-getter, you already know where this is going to go. It's like, okay, well, what if I now start dropping it to 1,800? Okay. Well, what if I start dropping it to 15? What if I stop dropping it under 12? And then I was told, like, you don't want to go below 1,000. I don't even know who told me that, but I'm like, but I'm one of the crazy ones. So let me try to like go against all odds and go sub 1,000. What happens? So you see, before I knew it, by the age of 14, I completely messed up my thyroid, and that led to anorexia, bulimia, and disordered eating patterns for the next 10 years, until one day, which was the worst day of my life, I met my other self. which made me wake up and decide to choose how I live my life differently. You see, I'm very much like my dad, and my dad is an extremely hard worker. He sacrifices his entire life for his work. And if you can relate to any of that, like, please go ahead and drop me. I want you to know that I see you. And, he went from being like, this parachute guy in the military to, being an engineer, and he's really great at what he does. However, he didn't know how to take care of himself. So he went from being able to do like 20 unbroken pull-ups to, to having hypertension and high cholesterol at the age of 40, which he did not care about. By the age of 50, one day at work, he dropped down and he got a massive heart attack. And you see, he lived in Nigeria at the time. I was in the US, just graduated from college. We didn't know if he was going to make it. We didn't. So, regardless of my situation, I knew that my family needed me. So, I chose to fly back home. I got a one-way ticket. It was like, okay, let's figure the rest out later. And I'll never forget the sight of seeing him getting reeled in. It's like, when somebody's so sick, it's like, you know, they're
Literally being kept alive.
they're being they're being kept alive, they're not living. And I was so grateful. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe he made it. But I was also so afraid for myself, for my family. And you know, he asked me to hold his hand. And I was like, maybe this is the last time I'm ever gonna be able to hold his hand ever again. And I just got this rush and everything turned white. And I heard this voice that said, Sarit, you're just like your dad. If you don't start changing your ways 30 years from now, this is what your life is going to look like. So I asked myself, is this what you want? And I said, no. See, at the time, I didn't even know myself. But in that day, when the rug was pulled beneath me, I got the opportunity to think differently by getting clear on everything that I don't want. I don't want a broken marriage. I don't want to be away from my kids. I don't want to, you know, work for the sake of working without fulfilling a purpose. And I don't want to die when I'm 50 years old. And I want to share with all of you guys, my dad is still alive today. So super grateful for all of that. That experience has made me become aware of what I actually want out of my life and how everything that I've done up till then, chasing diets, depriving myself of food, like seeing how many thousands of calories I could burn with the cardio machines, how all of that, like that nonsense, right, that I consumed, honestly just didn't work. So I committed right then and there to figuring out a way. And you see, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. And in that moment, I began a journey. And I'll tell you, in 6 months, my body has actually fallen into place. If you saw photos of me and you saw that I have a six pack, I do not share this to brag by any means, though I've earned it. I wasn't always like that because for a longer portion of my life, I had a keg. If you see the Instagram story today, you'll see the scratch marks that I still have on my butt. That's like the only thing that's left, the runes that are left from, Mecca or whatever you want to call it. But, and I told God right then and there, because it's a huge part of my identity, the identity that I used to have, the identity that I reshaped, and the gratitude that I have for finding the gift of not just health, but also confidence with the way that I did it. I'm like, God, you show me the way, and I will commit to helping others find the way. So, the reason why I'm here today is because I want to help every woman who, number one, has ever struggled with disordered eating patterns, binge eating, feeling, low self worth, not even sure what she's here for in life. I'm here to help you. If this is you, let me see you drop an I in the chat. I'll tell you who else I'm here to help. I'm also here to help anybody who is on the sickness side of the curve, like my dad. See, my dad is still on that side. However, it's his choices. You know, I told him plenty of times, I'm always here when you're ready. He's trying harder, right? And, you know, with his new lifestyle, he's doing better, but he's still got a long way to go. The point being, I see you guys. I see you guys. The point being that, you know, this mission is so much greater than us. And when you see the name ES, today's topic is called Believe in Yourself. And I want you to know what ES stands for. So Erin and I, we are the face. However, what the name stands for is Emunah, strength. And what I already told you, I come from Israel, so Hebrew is my first language. In Hebrew, Emunah means so to have deep faith, to believe in yourself, to do hard things so you can become stronger. This is what this mission is all about. This is so much bigger than all of us. You know, we are here to transform you because we know that when you do it the right way, eventually you transform your environment. You know, I have the utmost pleasure, like Elda, you're here today. You know, 2 years ago, she came to us as a client. She's now such a big part of this team and coaches who are here. Like, drop your names. We see you guys. And, you know, like many ES Army members, like, you know, when your life transforms in ways you never imagined, all you want to do is you want to share it with others. So I know I talked for 10 minutes, so I will let you be. But it's important that you know where we come from because it's easy to look at us and think, oh, yeah, like, you know, they were born this way or maybe they take stuff. I think yesterday we went for a walk and somebody asked me, you must be taking steroids. Are you taking steroids? I said, no. It's like, then you had to at some point. I'm like, never had in my entire life. Okay, this is just pure hard work, determination, discipline, and doing it the right way for the last 11 years at this point. And if I can, so can you. Truly.
I'll share my story tomorrow, you guys,
Yeah.
because this is just really important to roll off of. Okay, so what the rest is going to be ours. What the rest of this day in this video is going to be about is how do we take our thought habits and turn them into behavior habits that make us indestructible, really? And what's the way that we're currently thinking about it? And what's the way that is the most helpful for us to think about it? And that's what we're going to teach you in this. But before I go there, I just want to ask you, unfortunately, a lot of times it takes a tragedy or a near tragic event in order for us to change. And I want, if you take anything away from this, hear me. Don't wait for it to get so bad that somebody almost dies or you're almost diagnosed with an illness that's irreversible. Can you help me with the definition of tragedy? Can you look up the definition of
I got
tragedy?
you.
Because tragedy doesn't just mean a heart attack. Tragedy doesn't just mean somebody had a stroke. What is a tragedy? We'll come back to that.
An event causing great suffering, destruction, and distress, such as a serious accident, crime, or natural catastrophe.
Is distress an I?
Distress, yes. ISTRESS.
Yeah. Okay. And I want to know from you guys, do you have any circumstance in your life right now that is defined as a tragedy? My entire life was defined as tragedy. Sarit just read it. Something that causes great suffering, destruction, and distress.
Say it again.
Are you suffering? Is there any part of your life where you feel like you're suffering? Is there any part of your life where you are being destructive to your life itself? And is there any part of your life where you feel distressed? You're living in a tragedy, and this breaks my heart. I actually want to give you an opportunity. Thank you that you saw the 8-week Raw Transformation Program. I'm not going to sales pitch your face off, but I'm going to tell you, if you have great suffering in your life, if you have any destruction or destructive patterns or habits in your life, if you've got any distress in your life, this can be relationships, this can be broken relationships with your family, with your kids, with coworkers. If you've got any of this in your life, you need to jump into the 8-week Raw Transformation Program. We're going to talk about it later today, but I'll tell you, you can't keep waiting for tragedy to strike. In fact, it could already have struck you.
90%.
I can't live knowing that I don't give you an opportunity to jump in. Yes, it's going to cost money. Of course. Sure. If you absolutely, like, even by the skin of your teeth, get into that. This is also why we have so many free things. But I will tell you, the deeper and deeper layers you can go with us, the more you're going to get out of the results that you're looking for, the life that you wish that you were living. This doesn't just have to do with weight loss. We think, oh, when I lose weight, then when I look in the mirror, like, I'm going to be happier with what I see. And when I put on my clothes, I'm not going to have to try on 30 million things. And then I got clothes all over and then I waste time having to pick all these things up because I couldn't find something that I feel comfortable in. It affects every area of your life. And then I'm snapping at my kids or coworkers and then get chewed out by my boss and had a bad attitude because I felt crappy this morning when I woke up because I didn't do it to my work, to do my workout. And it just trickles and trickles and trickles like a waterfall. Just, and I can't live with knowing that anybody's living that way, that I have the ability and the power to help. What's the website? Eldon's going to drop a link for you guys. It is an investment, but the deal with an investment, you're already investing right now. Your time is more valuable than any penny, any single penny. Your time is more valuable. And I'm so grateful you're investing that with us because money can be regenerated. Money comes back into the bank account. Time never re-happens. It never re-happens. The second that whatever I said 2 seconds ago is gone. It never re-happens. And I want you to think about the time that you've been trying to lose weight, to get healthy, to feel better about yourself, to be happy, to have joy in your life. I promise you, there are things you can achieve that are beyond your wildest dreams. I've witnessed it with my own 2 eyes, hundreds of times. There's testimonials everywhere that you can find if you even try to look at all. I don't need you to take my word for it. Take my word for it. I just go find somebody else who's had success. Look on the page or the website that is dropped in the chat. Go look at the people who have had success. They're all real people. And if we have only a finite amount of time, even tomorrow's not guaranteed. So oftentimes there's people who are like, oh my God, I really want to do it. They're like, I'll wait until whenever. No, life is now. Life is now. Your life is now. And if you're like, oh, I've been trying to lose weight for 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, my whole life, you've already waited long enough. And I cannot live with you continuing to wait. Society is getting crazier. People are getting more scared. The FDA and all of the big pharma and all of the big
Pharma, big
companies
soda.
are against you. They're against you. And eventually, we're all going to pay for our health. We're going to pay to not have it, or we're going to pay. There's no way around it. I just want to invite you to pay to have your health, to have your wellness, to your well-being, your happiness, your peace of mind, your freedom of mind, body, and soul. That's what the law gives you. And we think about time, like, I don't remember if I was going to explain this. It doesn't matter. The link is dropped. All I ask is you check it out. All I ask is you check it out. And if you want to do it, but you think you can't, please just don't say you can't. Just ask yourself to menu. At the end of the day, it doesn't change my life if you don't sign up. It doesn't change Sarit's life if you don't sign up. It doesn't change Lauren's life if you sign up. LW, mad at me, she gave a stink eye, side eye. I saw it from over there. Didn't have to look at her. It doesn't change any of our
It's like when
lives.
she calls me Sarit.
It doesn't change any of our lives if you don't enroll. But it will absolutely 1000% without a doubt change yours. And all I ask is for the opportunity to be a part of that journey with you.
I want to ask you guys a question real quick, because so many times in life, opportunities come our way, and I want to talk more about time real quick.
Yeah.
This is a part of today's teaching, just so you know. Time is the number one asset that we have that is most taken for granted, unless you're already playing the game and you get the value of time. Time is the most valuable resource that you have, right? So, like, think for yourself, or perhaps drop it in the chat. How old are you? Actually, drop it in the chat so we can do an average, kind of like, okay, what is the average age of the current TKC participants? So I just want to share with you a little bit of math, because, for example, with my dad, when he started getting, triglycerides, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol at the age of 40, he took it for granted, and then at the age of 50, he literally he saw death before his eyes. So, when we go through the day-to-day motions, unappreciating how everything can really just end at any given point in time. Like, how do you want to end? So you see, when I faced that experience, I came very close to the fact that we're all vulnerable. And you start to appreciate the value of life. Okay, I want to see you guys. So, okay, see, I see.
Hold on. Remember what I said. How can I? Magic happens when you open your mind to it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not even just this program, in general, in life.
Yeah, and we're going to share with you some really cool things later today.
You want ages, or you want what?
Just scroll. I think what I'm seeing for the most part is that the average age is like 42. So let's go, because I see like early
I would say
30s.
44.
I see. Okay, 44. Okay. So you guys, 44 years old. The average, through medicine and all the drugs that are, like we said, 98% of Americans are on the sickness curve. However, the drugs are keeping, like, people alive for the most part until the age of 76. Okay. And whether you've been trying to lose weight for, 2 years, 10 years, maybe your whole life. For me, I started this journey really young. Then how many years do we have left if you're 44? That's 32 years. Okay. So imagine if you knew that you had 32 years. 11,680 sunsets. Sunsets.
I like
And
that.
you can say sunsets, you can say dinners with your family. Like, imagine if you had that left. Like, if there was a countdown for your life, would you start paying more attention to how you show up every single day? And would you start, living with a greater sense of urgency of, solving the things that you feel like are holding you back from living your best life? You see, for me,
I just want to really quickly mention that this number expands when you stay in this community, when you take care of yourself,
Yes.
when you get healthier, when you get fitter,
There-
when you get happier, this number grows. You actually get more.
Yeah.
And so if you're buying yourself time, think about that.
Yeah. It's actually, health is a time multiplier. Jacked by 50 is a term in the ES Army. Like, imagine, like, who in here? I'm not sure
If you want to be, fitter than you, Roxanne just said this. I'm fitter than I have ever been in my entire life.
Imagine being 50 years old and saying this is the best shape I've ever been in, because you're playing the game right. So like, my whole point for sharing this with you is, when I was at the age of 22, and up till then, I didn't appreciate time. I'm like, wow, everything can literally change in a moment. Not just for worse, also for the better. Know that for the better. Everything changed for me for the better. You see, for the first part of my life, my body was a liability. Liability with regards to relationships, liability with regards to my self-confidence, liability with regards to my potential.
I want to ask you, what was the cost of that? When you are a liability, there's a cost.
Sure. I was so insecure. I was isolated. I didn't have the courage to do things that would scare me a little, because in the back of my mind, all I thought were, I share this with you because we're going to talk about belief system in just a second. I was so consumed with the belief system that I had, that, oh, you're fat. Oh, like
you don't fit in.
You don't fit in. Oh, something's wrong with you. Oh, you're a slow learner, right? So I stayed comfortable in my own suffering. But then I'm like, wow, actually, like, not going for it is the greatest form of suffering. So I'm like, dude, you got to figure it out right now. And let me tell you, since then, my body became my asset. My body, and I don't share this to brag, and I'm not walking around like, whoa, like everybody see my body. I do not. However, my body has been an asset in the way. Listen, when you show up into a room and your body shapes your aura, like, we all have an energetical frequency. So my frequency raised.
The energy is the feeling. The visual is a visual. It's a visual. It's a feeling. There's an audible, right? So
yeah, and I'm not saying that you need to be jacked for that, right? Like, for everybody, it's a different feeling that we're looking for. So for me, that feeling gave me the confidence to do things that are more bold. For example, had it not been for that, I wouldn't have met the person who had invited me to a very special event that Erin was a part of, and I won't have been able to meet her. I thought she was way out of my league, you guys. And here she is, like, my wife now. Okay. Also, with my immigration interview, people look at you in a certain way, and this, for better or for worse, that's just the reality of it. This is not about a certain weight. This is about a way of being. Okay. And what you believe about yourself.
I'm gonna go to here.
What you believe about yourself creates your way of being. Yes. Creates your way of being. So you see, let's do that. What you believe about yourself shapes your identity, because your identity is made up of two things. It is made up of what you believe, your belief system, and it's also made up of your habits. So I want to ask you guys a question. how many times, like, for example, if you feel misaligned, what do I mean when I say misaligned? I mean, you know, like you could be doing all the things, but you're like, dude, like I just know that my body is not a true representation of who I am. Can you resonate with this? Let's get
Mm.
vulnerable for a second. Can you just drop a yes? If you're like, my body is just not a representation of who I am at the core. Okay. So you might have some habits that are in line, right? Like you could be, like eating vegetables with every meal. Maybe yesterday where you did the, nutritional audit, you were all at fives, right? Maybe you have some of your habits in check. So number one, we can always go deeper with habits, and it's a continuous evolution, right? What we have to consider is the belief system, and that too is a habit. It is a thought habit that you have created on a subconscious level within your mind. Like there's so many people, you guys, do you know that over 90% of women are constantly trying to lose weight? So now, if you're a woman and you're trying to constantly lose weight, maybe, like keto or intermittent fasting or diet this, diet that, right? Like maybe you have some habits in check. But why is it that you keep on running into the same thing over and over and over again? You see, I did like all of the diet things in the world. I already shared with you my story. What was missing for me? A few things. But the first layer is my belief system. See, like for me, my belief system that gave rise to my identity was fat, slow,
I put them up on the screen too. A lot of different things.
weak. I also grew up.
I actually want to know, like, what are the beliefs that you have about you currently? And
Yeah.
this is a safe space for you to be just vulnerable. Hopefully, you've been able to see the support that is in this group so far. But I put the things that I've been on here, right? I'm a lost cause, unworthy, fat, tired, out of shape, blah, lazy. What are they for you?
Yeah,
and let's just acknowledge them. We're not going to live in them. We're not going to swim in them. We're just going to acknowledge them.
Okay, I
so
see
that
you
we have
guys.
the freedom to let them go.
Failure.
I got you. Fat, slow, out of shape. No longer the athlete that I was. That's my
Okay.
story. I'll tell you. Insufficient, sloth-like, disappointment. Nothing works for me. That is a wild belief. I literally had to overcome that as well. I'm never going to be successful, not good enough, lost, depressed, unhappy, injured, overlooked.
Hmm. You guys, just so that, for those of you who are sharing, just so that we can support the people who are being vulnerable, if you're like, yes, I can relate to this is adding value to me, can you just drop a heart in the chat? So the way that you change your belief system, and by the way, it's a process, it's not an event, right? It's like transforming yourself is a process, not an event. And one of the things that, this weight loss industry is trying to make it be is that transforming your body is an event. It's a before and an after picture. No, it's a process. It's a process. And when you do it the right way,
Can I see this, please?
and we focus on it on a holistic manner, it's not going to take overnight because, listen, if you have a belief system that has shaped you for the last 40 years, we're not just in the blink of an eye. Oh, like, however, we can start showing up as that, right? Because we said it's a way of beingness. Love the hearts, you guys. We see you. So your weight, your body is a current manifestation of all of the habits that you've had up till now and the belief system that you've carried on until now. And here's how you change your belief system over time. Okay. So the first thing that we do is, I'm so glad we got a new one. I'm like, we're using so much of these.
Yeah.
So we change our belief system through relationships, events, or experiences. And then we multiplied by words. Okay, some of you guys have heard the terms words of affirmation. So that's important. However, there's more to that. It's also relationships. Because you can tell yourself all day, I am strong, I am confident, I am worthy. However, what if you're married to a person who makes you feel like you're worthless every time? You're going to continue running into the same block over and over again. And that's why you've mentioned the raw. Like, if you know that anything that we've said so far resonates with you, get deeper with the relationships, because those matter. Yes, we're going to talk about these words. Like the TKC is an event and an experience where you get relationships. Now imagine when you multiply that and you practice this over time. Like, imagine the potential of that. Okay.
I want to mention to you guys, the Raw Transformation Program is normally a $600 program. Today and tomorrow, it's $397. There's a shit ton of bonuses that we're throwing in, that the value of it's thousands of dollars that we are literally handing to you for $397. Why? Because we need to pay for the stuff that runs it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. And the benefit of you paying for some kind of program, that if this has proven to be different for you, I know that a lot of times we don't believe that we're going to follow through. It's not you, it's me. Because our past experiences have taught us that we don't finish what we start. Or, I don't follow through with the things I sign up for. I've already spent thousands of dollars over the last 10 years on a bunch of stuff, and I haven't followed through. So I don't want to waste more money. The problem with that thinking is that if you don't continue forward in a way that is most likely to help you succeed, I explain it like a blackjack table, where there's two blackjack tables. I'm not a big gambler, so I don't know why I came up with this analogy. But essentially, you have two blackjack tables, and one of them says, hey, come over here, and there's a 0% chance you're going to win anything. And then the other table says, hey, come over here. There's a 10% chance that you're going to win something, but it's not zero. Which table are you going to? 100%. You're going to go to the one that gives you any kind of a chance at all. So why I say that is because you're living your life, right? You're going to one of the blackjack tables. Which one are you going to go to? So never give up on you, because if you go to bed with you every night and you wake up with you every day, God bless. Pitbull said, every day above ground is a great day. Remember that way. So take care of you. Make the decisions that are going to give you the best opportunity to succeed. Is that going to be with a group of people in the raw? I don't know. You get to make that decision. I know what it was for me, and I had to invest a bunch of money. I'll tell you more about my story tomorrow. And it was the greatest thing I ever did. So again, this is for your life. The benefit of paying for something is I got skin in the game. Now I got something to lose besides just weight.
Yeah, it's accountability.
Besides just nasty thought habits, besides the bully in me, I've got something else to lose that I don't want to lose. And I promise you, we'll do everything that we can to chase you around if you don't show up. Because our goal is that you succeed, not just that you show up for the first day, but that you follow through and that you succeed. Even with this 5 days, Raw aside, let's say you don't do the raw transformation program, fine. Just follow through with these 5 days. It's just easy to give up something that you didn't pay for, right? You're like, I don't have anything to lose, right? So that's my other 2 cents on that.
Yeah. And also, the more time that goes on, the more obstacles you go through that make you want to give up. Defeat is a part of the process, and learning how to stick with it so that you can eventually overcome defeat. Like, who do you have by your side? Like, what experiences are you currently going through? What skills are you learning? Right. So, like, know that this is an educational experience that doesn't only transform you, it transforms everything around you. Okay. So let's move on to today's challenge, and what that looks like. Because today we're going to work on reshaping your belief system. Okay. So, you already start to get a grasp of the game each and every single day. You get to earn yourself a potential of 3 points. Okay. Point number one is, the habit of movement. Movement is food and food is medicine. We've provided you with the burn zone workouts. If you're a VIP, maybe you jammed with us this morning. If
We've
not,
had
you're going to
way
get
too
the
much fun in
recording.
VIP. By the way, today's the last day to get into VIP experience. If you just want to do that, it's $47, right? I see LW on it. Cool. The VIP experience, you guys, we've been working out every day, and it's been challenging but extremely fun to connect.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, backstage, we're coming to you guys in a second.
Yeah. So 30 minutes of workouts. We provided you with whatever you needed in order to decide which one you're going to follow through. And then the second exercise, which we're going to talk about in just a second, is redefining your identity. Okay, remember, we cannot change what we do not confront. So today we're going to confront our current identity so that you can start heading ways with regards to changing that. And then, listen, relationships matter. You want to reach up to a supportive system, to a supportive community. And that's why you're also going to post in the TKC Facebook group. We're going to talk about the post in just a second, because I want to talk to you guys about the redefining your identity exercise. Okay. So in the redefining your identity exercise,
I got it here.
Okay, great. So we're gonna make 3 columns. Okay, let's say this is my sheet of paper. Okay, so we've got 3 columns right here. Okay, on the left-hand side, we're gonna call it your limiting thoughts. These are the current thoughts, like some of you guys have shared it with us, that are making you run into the same thing over and over again. By the way, we all have limiting thoughts that we're not even aware of. And that's the power of mentorship and coaching. For example, Aaron and I, we always work with at least one coach or a mentor, so that, like, what we speak is actually a byproduct of our current belief system.
We are actually,
for better or for worse.
We are actually currently in a high-level leadership program. Why? Because we keep growing, we can keep helping you.
Yeah. So limiting thoughts, right? Limiting thoughts. Okay. You're like, dude, like, I just know that this thought is not helping me to get to my 1-year vision, right? Yesterday we talked about your 1-year vision. If you're like, I'm lazy, meanwhile you want to work out, and like, by the end of the year you want to drop 40 pounds, and guess what? That's a limiting thought. It's a thought that keeps you being lazy, okay? Because your thoughts determine your words, which determine your actions, which determine your habits, which determine your byproduct. Your body today is a byproduct of all of your thoughts, all of your actions, and all of your habits until today. Your body next year is going to be everything up till now, plus whatever you do between now and the end of the year, okay? So you're going to write the 3 most dominant, okay, and prevalent limiting thoughts that you have. Column number 2 are going to be power thoughts. If something doesn't serve you, let it go. Let it go.
Okay, so I'm lazy. I don't follow through. Give me a third one.
I'm fat.
Okay, great. We heard that one.
So power thoughts. Okay, these we just identify the fact that obviously these thoughts are not serving you. Okay. So let's lead with power. What can we say about ourselves instead? Okay. That will actually serve us, because you telling yourself you're lazy is a lie. You just believe it. So, like, time for us to give ourselves like a new belief system. I'm productive.
Now these need to be believable for you in the beginning, right? Because if they're not, you're like, I'm the most amazing. Right after you just said like I'm fat and lazy, then it's not really believable. So you just feel like you're lying to yourself, right? If you have a friend who's like telling you something and you don't believe what they're saying, you're like, okay, and you don't do anything with it. So you can make this like a power thought of like, I'm in the process of, right? So let's say I'm lazy. You can say like, every day I get more productive, right?
Yes.
Every day, or every day I work on improving my productivity.
Yeah.
I get more productive. Okay. I don't follow through.
I am consistent.
I'm getting more consistent. I don't want to say more.
I am consistent.
I'm consistent. I'm fat.
I am healthy and in great shape.
Or you could say, I'm healthy, I'm in great shape. You could say, I love what I'm doing every day to improve myself. You can say, when I look in the mirror, I see more and more things about myself that I love about myself. Every day I do something to make myself more fit, healthier, whatever.
Yes.
Okay. So that's power thoughts.
So then on the right-hand side column, we're going to lead that with an action. Because like we said, it's not about saying it. It's about being it and eventually embodying it. Okay. I've embodied my power thoughts.
Power action. Okay. So now what do we do?
Okay. So if you're working on your productivity, let's say, you know that you got to respond to this email. And you're like, oh gosh, I really don't feel like it. Maybe I'm going to go to the break room and just like, I'm doing the TKC now, so I'm going to grab an apple instead of a donut. And go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, respond to the email. The power of your mind, like, are you in control of your mind, or is your mind in control of you? Powerful. Okay.
I'm consistent.
I'm consistent. Hey, this is a great way. This TKC game is a great way to measure your consistency. Just, continue showing up. Like, what is your target for earning your points today? Are you going for 3? Okay.
Some of you who are already signed up for the Raw, can I make your power action? I finished the Raw transformation program. It's not really action. That's
it's about doing it today.
Okay, so I'm consistent. So maybe this can be like work out 3 days a week. Is that?
Yeah, sure. So,
or is it only today? This challenge today, like what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
Today's action.
Yeah. So like. Okay. So I'm consistent. I show up for the TKC, right? Like just show up. Show up tomorrow.
Because this is an action. So this is what you do. Yeah. Right? 5 seconds to take action instead of like smoldering around in the decision-making process. Like I decide and I do. And then this is show up to TKC. Cool. That's the action for today, for tomorrow, right? For the challenge. And then I find things I love about my body. Maybe this is, I practice in the mirror. I find one thing I love about myself.
Yeah. Today I'm so happy and grateful for, my big blue eyes.
And say it out loud.
That brighten up, like my spouse's day.
This is going to be very hard for some of you. These don't have to be, actually, let me get rid of this. These don't have to be exactly what you do. These don't have to be exactly your limiting thoughts. These don't have to be exactly your power thoughts. But if like I'm fat or something about your body physically, I'm like fluffy or like whatever descriptive word. If you have one of these physical body things in here, and you're like, hey, I'm finding things about that I love about my body, and I say out loud what I love about me. So when you look in the mirror, you physically out loud tell yourself what you love about yourself. Try it. I just kind of want everybody to try that. No matter what your power thoughts or power actions are, I just want you to try that.
Yeah. So then on the, when you make the post, like show us what action step are you committing to? Okay. So this is a game of application. You've got your workout, you've got this exercise, confront it. Would love to see you getting vulnerable. So you really show us that you confront it and then lead with action. Lead with the power action. Okay. Because remember, by the end of the day, it is your identity that, has shaped on who you are today. And it is the identity that you get to create that will reshape, the next version of you. Like it or not, we're all in a constant state of evolution. It's just because until we wake up, our environment, gives rise to our evolution by default, right? So we become more stressed, more anxious, more depressed, lacking more purpose. Like we've both experienced it before. Okay. And just know that you get to choose, where you want to be. And whatever you choose is fine. We're just committed to showing you the light of the possibility of when you are truly committed to, give rise to that next version of you that is created by design. Okay. And like we said before, if we can, so can you, truly. So, by the way, can we drop the link? If you have any questions about the Raw Transformation Program, some logistical things, and you want to talk to somebody on our team, by the way, our team are a byproduct of the product. So listen to what they say because they have been transformed through the Raw Transformation Program. This is no joke, no bullshit type program.
So if you have any questions, if you have any hesitations, if you have any concerns, you're not going to make it to something, you won't follow through, whatever it is, all I ask is you have the courage to just chat with someone from our team. You guys, if we don't think that something's right for you.
Can you drop the link?
If we don't think something's right for you, we are not going to tell you to do it, but we will point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
This needs to be a win-win-win for you.
Yeah.
That is our goal in everything that we do. That's why we do free things. That's why we have everything on our YouTube channel. This is amazing and fun. I just want you to go into a deeper layer with us so that we can make even more of an impact with you, give you even more strategies, even more tools, help you in your specific scenarios, right? For 8 whole weeks. On Thursday, the price is going back up to $597. Just so you guys know. $597 Thursday. You have today and tomorrow.
Okay. All right, you guys. Much love. VIPs, we're going to see you in 1 minute.
Go do your stuff today. You're great. You're amazing. Remember, you're unique and special, and today's your day.
Bye, guys.
See ya.